And we're rolling.
Alrighty.
That's right, folks. We're rolling on the river. That's how they say it in Creedence Clearwater Revival. Rolling on the river.
River, yeah. People on the river are happy to grive.
You meet a lot of interesting people when you're rolling on the river.
Mm-hmm. Some of them have a mouthful of small stones. It's hard to speak around.
Sometimes it's a little boy and his friend whose name you can't say.
Yeah, he, as much as he insists, called me this. You don't want to do it.
No. Mr. Jim was my father.
He's a cool guy, though.
Yeah, he's a real chill guy. Nobody's mad at him.
Mm-hmm.
How's your week been?
Blending together with previous weeks. It is
same.
Unceasing. But other than that, things are great.
It's been a weird one, and by one I mean several weeks, almost an entire year of weeks. I think it's just been a weird couple of years, really.
Yeah,
I think, and I'm excited to see what the future holds when we don't have like a clown president, but everything still sucks ass.
But as it stands, we're in the tension building phase of the Alfred Hitchcock movie still, and it's getting so ripe. I want it to break. I don't care what it is. Something needs to happen.
I hope it's birds and not just a fear of spiral staircases.
Well, with the amount that I have been drinking, I need to learn a healthy fear of spiral staircases. I just can't do them anymore.
It probably wouldn't hurt you to have a healthy respect for the spiral staircase.
You know your limits. Not every mountain needs to be climbed.
Especially if you've been drinking. I oftentimes I get like really hung up on the concept of Mount Everest and like the fact that there's like dead bodies all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
It's a weird thing
and
to
Cheeto
think about.
bags.
Yeah. Green boots, all that shit. The dead zone, oxygen tanks and litter everywhere. That stuff freaks me out. And I think like, why would anyone do that? But I think on another level, I think like I would never do that. Like as if I have the ability to do that. I would get like 100 feet up the mountain and be like, did anybody bring any beer?
What I'm wondering, I know it's very expensive to do, but would it not be, wouldn't be that much more to just take a helicopter to the top, right?
I believe that is why all the dead bodies are up there, is because you can't take a helicopter to the top. Because if you could, the helicopter could just rescue people when they started to die on the mountain. The air is too thin for the helicopter.
Oh. Well, shit.
Yeah.
Maybe the with how much money the country of Nepal makes off of that, would it not be feasible to build a man-made Everest here in the good old US of A? For us to profit off of?
One time I did the math and I worked it all out, and it would be possible to build like a 300-mile zip line from the top of Everest that like terminates at like a bar at the top of the tallest building in Tibet. So you could just like zip line back into town after you get to the top of the mountain. And it'd be like a 3-hour zip line ride. But you could just put like a hot tub up there where it lands. Just have a bar.
Now the corpses are just going to be zip-lined to the... Maybe we should do it to a hospital or a morgue.
Yeah. They should just put like a big alpine slide. And you just wrap a dead body up and put him in the alpine slide. Fuck. I'm thinking about the alpine slide would almost make it worth it to go up the mountain now. Like I'd be willing to risk like my overweight asthmatic ass just to be able to take that alpine slide back down, just sitting on an old burlap sack, just zipping down Mount Everest. Do you remember that time that we kept riding the tallest water slide at the park?
Oh yeah.
When it was like rainy and nobody was at the park, and we went and we wore ourselves out climbing up the stairs to that ride.
You get so excited, you want to run to it, and by the time you're 10 stories up, you're like, oh geez, oh god.
Oh, there's something to be said for having to wait on that staircase that goes up like 130 feet or whatever to ride that terrible water slide that tears your pants apart. Man was never meant to ride the giant water slide over and over in one day.
Mm-hmm.
We wore ourselves out just running up the steps.
You need a little bit of a line, you know?
Yeah.
When you could just walk right up there and immediately get shitted out again.
Yeah. It's a premature enlightenment is what it is. It's doing ayahuasca and seeing the face of God.
But that's why I need something to happen in the larger sense right now, because this year has been like standing on the plate that goes out and you shoot down the water slide, and I don't know when to expect the water slide to start anymore.
Yeah, it's like, for folks that aren't familiar, we're talking about the water slide at our local amusement park, Kentucky Kingdom, and it's a vertical drop out of a water slide that drops you directly down through a little glass trap door, and the guy hits the button, and then the bottom falls out of the tube you're standing in, and then you just fall straight down for like 30 stories, and then you get shot out for quite a while, and then you get up and you go and wave to your friends at the top of the tower,
and your pants are probably somewhat pulled down or in disrepair from...
You might have split the side of your shorts, or they're just completely up in your butt crack. If you have a wallet in your pocket, it's not there anymore.
Yeah, you're probably showing a little under ass cheek. This thing gives you a pretty good wedgie.
But I feel like 2020 would be like we got into that tube, and then the guy in charge of the ride like looked at his phone and was like, oh geez, and like left, and we're in the tube like, hey, wait, what? And then like a different guy shows up, and he's got like a lazy eye and one hand down his pants, and we're like, are you in charge of the tube now? And then he tries to light a cigarette instead of letting us out of the tube, and he lights his shirt sleeve on fire. And then we're still in the tube like, hey, I'm in the tube over here, can you just hit the button? And he tries to hit the button, but then he lights the outside of the tube on fire. So now we're just in a tube of fire, and we're honestly, the bottom dropping out is the least scary thing now. We're just waiting for it.
That's pretty accurate.
I just heard a spooky noise come from upstairs.
Like a...
It sounded like a mummy, but I think it might have been my kids are playing Rocket League up there. But it was like it didn't sound like, that's not Rocket League sounds.
Maybe one of your children lost at Rocket League and they made a very unattractive loser noise.
I mean, I guess that's what it was, but it sounded like a movie monster.
Or maybe it's some gamesmanship. Maybe if you spook your competitor, they'll Miss the giant soccer ball.
Oh yeah, maybe they got the headset on and they're trying to. Somebody else's screen name was Afraid of Frankenstein 69.
Oh.
And they were like, oh, well, this'll get him.
Is anybody really afraid of Frankenstein?
Maybe Frankenstein, the Bride of Frankenstein.
Yeah. I get that.
I feel like she's not keen on it, you know.
Yeah.
Not the biggest fan of Frankenstein. That I feel like you could do a pretty good situation comedy with Frankenstein and the Bride of Frankenstein. You know,
Yeah.
like he's like an oaf with a hot wife,
and she's with him literally because there's no one else. It's just made to be his hot wife.
She is a wife that is hot, not a quote unquote hot wife. Frankenstein isn't into seeing other dudes fuck the Bride of Frankenstein.
Well, I don't know.
I don't know.
He does seem to always
that.
be hanging out with that wolf man, and I mean, even Igor, I guess, could be.
Yeah, maybe.
He did one movie by himself, and after that, he was always wanting to pal around with all the other monsters.
Igor, what a stud! All right. Do you have an idea for a podcast? Folks, this is the show where we try to come up with an idea for what we'll do for a show. And we still haven't done it. We've been doing it for, over a year now. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember when the first episode of this was, but I think that we've gone well over a year. We're in the hundreds of episodes now.
Well, my first idea for this week is public domain karaoke, the podcast.
Okay. Public domain karaoke podcast.
I mean, I wanted to do just like a karaoke podcast, but then realized there's no way that we could do that with the popular songs of today, yesterday. We have to go back to 100 years ago before we could probably legally use any songs. But
I think we could get away with doing the karaoke as long as it was the karaoke track. We can't just play a popular song.
Oh, you
like
mean
the
like
idea.
In the style of?
Yeah. What's the one with the little lightning bug? You know what I'm talking about?
Ooh, yeah. I don't remember what it's called.
There's man, it's been so long since I've done karaoke.
Isn't
I can't
it like
think
a
of the name.
monkey with fairy wings?
I thought it was a lightning bug, but it's something. It's some sort of a winged creature. And it's like song tunes, but it's not song tunes.
But it would definitely be more fun if we could find a workaround and use those. But I think it could be fun also if we're singing stuff like Camptown Races, Alouette, the Alphabet
Susanna.
Song.
Yeah.
America the Beautiful.
Happy Birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah. We could do all the
Saints Go
Fanny
Marching
Crosby hymns.
But
A mighty fortress is our God.
Oh yeah, we can do all of those.
Yeah.
What's the one that's like, I may never march in the infantry, ride in the cavalry, shoot the artillery.
I may never fly o'er the enemy.
Yeah. Because I'm in Jesus' platoon.
You can you can either be in the army or you can use the word o'er, but you can't do both. No fighter pilots are using O''er.
Still like steadfastly refusing to call it a fighter jet. It's still an aeroplane.
An aeroplane.
Come on, boys, get to the aeroplanes.
I've got like a goggles and like a silk scarf, big waxed mustache.
Mhm.
We must confound Jerry at every turn. I like it. I like the idea of. I'm trying to think of what what the best public domain song would be, because there's a lot.
Yeah, there are a lot, and the list is actually I brought one up to try to find a few, and I'm still in the A's. There are Auld Lang Syne.
Oh,
I've done that one
that's a good
before.
one. Maybe, I mean, you could also probably go on YouTube and just look up songs that are free for use in,
Mm-hmm.
they're free use, like the Bride of Frankenstein. I like the idea. I actually was thinking about whether or not it would be possible to do karaoke on the internet, and I think it would be. So this is definitely. I mean, it's relevant to my interests. I will say that.
And maybe it could be we could have an element of it where maybe we have a guest and the person who's not singing gets criticized in an American Idol style fashion.
Oh yeah. We could have a panel of judges. Maybe we do that. Maybe it's you versus me, and then we have 3 judges. Or maybe we get some contestants and then we're the judges.
That's the safer choice, but also I feel like it'd be easier to get guests if they don't have to sing.
I suppose, although I like the singing. That's the part of karaoke I like.
Oh, me as well. I'm a big ham.
All right, I got an idea for a podcast.
Okay.
And now this is as you know, we are in the spooky season, and I have it written in my notes, spooky tales.
Okay.
This is simple. You just tell a spooky story.
Okay.
At my work, someone who works near me has started bringing in a Bluetooth speaker and playing episodes of Lore, the podcast about spooky stories. And let me tell you, that guy has all the charisma of a wet moth.
Oh, no.
We could totally do a better spooky story podcast than Lore. That's right. And they got a Netflix deal, or maybe it was an Amazon Prime, or maybe it was like Showtime streaming, whatever. Imagine spooky stories, but told with all of the sexual dynamism that we bring to podcasting. Do you want to hear about the?
I'm really worried that I'm just gonna make everyone a dream, and I have to like smack my hand and say no, that's bad spooky storytelling.
I mean, I was saying like the retelling of true spooky stories, but maybe we just pick up our own stuff and then end every single one with, and it was all a dream. Think of all the, I mean, honestly, if we're just making stuff up, what's the spookiest scenario you can make up out of your own head? Just out of whole cloth, what's the spookiest scenario for a story?
And spooky and scary aren't the same thing. Because if it's just scary, it's waking up in a place that's completely dark where I have no idea where I'm at and have no way of getting out of.
Yeah, I suppose just going to hell is probably the scariest thing you can think of. Spooky, we just want the hairs on the back of people's necks to get, like just get a little cold chill thinking about it. Sort of thing that just it haunts you for a while. I always go with there's someone living in your attic and you don't know about it. Classic scary tale.
Yeah, there that has been done in movies a fair amount too. I think that there's one movie where it's Gary Busey living in people's walls, which is even better than
they're like.
I'm trying to think of the name of that movie, but
and it's
that's
just
probably
Gary
my answer.
Busey as Gary Busey.
Yeah, he brought the "I'm with Busey" guy with him to the walls.
He keeps doing acronyms for stuff.
It's called
I'm in
Hider
your walls, and now it stands. We always love life. That's a Buseyism. Yeah, honestly, that could be extra scary. Just the tale of the man who had Busey in his walls.
Now, I have one small problem with this movie. It's called Hider in the House. It's from 1989. Okay. It is a pre-motorcycle accident Busey film. I think that they probably need to go back and do it again right this time.
You got 4 walls. In those walls, to the north, you got Gary Busey. To the east, you have Mickey Rourke. To the south, Rosie O'Donnell, and to the east, Jared from Subway.
Oh God. Oh, I'm going with Busey. I head north.
And it's called The Walls Have Eyes.
And we can probably fold this into an extended cinematic universe. They all die in the walls, and it becomes a Casper franchise.
They start stinking it up. Now we're dealing with odors, ghostly odors.
You know, as many Ghostbusters and Ghost Chasers and what have you as I've watched, I've never thought about what ectoplasm smells like. Do you think it's a stinky doo-doo?
I always imagined it just smelling like Elmer's glue. I guess because I would assume that's probably what like the stuff in the movies smells like.
Yeah, they're just making. They just bought a slime kit from Walmart.
I know that in the Men in Black movie, they used like animal entrails for the slime. So maybe some of that. I don't know what they used in Poltergeist, but I just watched that the other night, and yeah, it's gross, but it's not like very convincingly gross.
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about.
Though, I think it's the swim. They used actual human skeletons in that movie.
Yeah, my children had never seen the movie, but when we were watching it the other night, they would not shut up about how they had heard about the human skeletons part of that movie. And they were like, those are real skeletons. And I was like, yes, I know.
There is a YouTube ad that I've gotten a few thousand times for the Shudder streaming service. And apparently they have a Poltergeist documentary that's featured heavily in the ad.
Ah, well, that's probably how my children learned about that shit. All right. Oh, that was. Do you have another idea? That was mine. Spooky Tales.
I do, and this one is Idioms for Idiots. And I got this one because I realized that I had no idea what like Waterford chocolate meant.
Is that an idiom?
I think so. I mean, it means that you have to heat up water really hot to make hot chocolate with. So one, you're already at a boil, but also
Oh.
it can have a sexual meaning as well.
Yeah, I thought I was thinking of this is confusing because there was the movie Chocolat,
Mm-hmm.
and then there was the movie Like Water for Chocolate, and then there was the movie Water for Elephants, and they all are the same movie in my mind. Like they all inhabit the same space, and I've not seen all three of them are not on my radar at all. So I'm constantly just kind of making up my own movie, and I think Matthew Broderick is in it,
Mm-hmm.
as well as the kid from uh the dude who plays Batman now. What's his name?
Oh, Robert
Matthew
Pattinson.
Perry. Let's just say Matthew Perry.
Okay, it's Matthew Perry.
And there's chocolate and elephants, and they're at the circus. I think Danny DeVito is like the ringmaster of the circus.
Oh no.
This is it's a Tim Burton joint.
I can we get Danny Glover in there as well? and
We got Danny Glover.
drop fucking Dumbo from the sky.
The Operation Dumbo drop.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got Bill Murray.
Mm-hmm.
We got Hugh Jackman. He's singing, he's dancing. He's doing a whole thing. This is the chocolate elephant water drop.
Oh man, a water slide for elephants. Like a water slide for elephants. What does that
A chocolate waterfall for elephants.
Don't let elephants into that chocolate fountain at the Golden Corral. They're going to make it even grosser than it already is.
Impossible.
They're sucking it up in their nose and just blowing it all over the steak. Nobody likes chocolate steak. We could also probably look into the history of how the idioms are formed, because there are times I know what they mean, but not necessarily why.
Yeah,
like when go ahead.
How the sausage gets made is literally an idiom that we could explore how the sausage gets made of the idiom.
What kind of sausage do you think they're talking about?
What's the worst kind? Because that's pretty
Blood.
much blood sausage, human sausage.
Yeah, maybe that idiom should be expanded upon. I think that how the blood sausage gets made, or how the human sausage gets made, has a certain ring to it.
Mm-hmm. I'd love to find out how the human sausage gets made. Although I have an inkling of an idea of how it gets made, and I think it's probably not good. Not great.
I think it starts with a trip to your local, like, Cabela's or Dick's Sporting Goods, right?
Yeah. And they say, what are you hunting? And you say, the most dangerous game.
And they just assume you mean, like, elk.
They're like, oh, you mean alai?
Let me direct you to our highlight section.
Oh, yeah, I'm looking for equipment for the most dangerous game. They're like, oh yeah, highlight.
What are those giant Fritos that they wear on their arms? Are they? Where do you buy those?
At Dick's Sporting Goods, I'm pretty sure.
Is it just like canvas that they've stitched together, or?
I think it's like almost like a wicker.
Oh, okay. It's
like
woven.
A rattan.
Okay.
You ever watch Sepak Takraw?
No.
That's like a Asian kick volleyball game they use a rattan ball, but the players all have to jump and flip and kick the ball.
Oh, I have seen video clips of this.
Yeah, I mean, you see the stars of Setback Talk Raw. They're all over your Mountain Dew cans and whatnot.
Mm-hmm,
They've got
mm-hmm.
those big sponsorship deals.
Yeah. Get those multi-$100 million deals to
Mhm.
secure them. They give them that like $500,000 a year until you die sort of
Yeah,
deals.
these guys, they're on the labels of your sour yogurt. You know them. You love them. All right, I got.
I'm still holding out for Space Setpa Raku or whatever it is.
Setback Talk Raw on the moon. What's what's that poem? Never mind. Uh, here's my next idea.
Okay.
This is a podcast called For a Limited Time, the McRib Podcast.
Ooh.
And this would be a podcast about everyone's favorite barbecue sandwich. McDonald's is the rib. I'm sorry, McRib. I got the name wrong.
I should probably give you a good ribbing for that.
Oh, I can't believe I said it wrong. I said the rib. Or as it's known in English, the rib. Fuck!
I'm gonna let you marinate in your sauce for a little bit on
the rib.
I would like to get a hold of someone and give them a good talking to. I just think that they're leaving a lot of money on the table, only selling it for 1 month a year.
I mean, I understand. It's probably something to do. Look, we've all seen that Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd movie. There's pork bellies. They go up, they go down. You can't have the pork bellies all the time. Sometimes you got to trade places. Sometimes here comes the Travis Scott meal. Then he trades places. Here come McRib.
Well, I think that your assumption that they use pork belly to make a McRib is a little bit suspect. I mean, this is just scraps and snouts and entrails and.
It's the McSnouts and feet.
But I guess you got to have somebody buying those bellies for there to be snouts and scraps and.
Yeah.
The pink part of the hoof.
Yeah, you want to. If you want an ingredient, the best time to buy that ingredient would be when other people have bought all the other more desirable things. It's like, say you wanted to have a drink at McDonald's called the McPurple Stuff. You're going to wait until everybody else has chosen Sunny D, soda, OJ, and then all that's left is the purple stuff. Oh, McPurple Stuff, back for a limited time because all the other kids in the neighborhood chose Sunny D.
Mm-hmm. But it's good because there's a limited supply of the purple stuff. We can only harvest Grimace so much.
He gets a little lightheaded if we've been harvesting too much.
He's like Santa Claus. Nobody wants a skinny Grimace.
Eat. So you are positing that the purple stuff comes from Grimace's blood.
I think he's like a big gumdrop that you got to juice. You give it a little squeeze and you get some purple stuff.
This is where we get Tampico, is from our American president, Donald Trump. Get that orange stuff. It's not as fancy as Sunny Delight. No. It comes in a regular milk jug.
But I think its color is a little more electric. I mean, I've never put some Tampico under a black light before, but I'd imagine that it glows like nuclear waste.
Oh yeah, it's like that movie Coco. Everything's like in a black light.
Coco, is this like the one where they gorge the elephant on Swiss Miss?
Yeah, that's the one.
All right.
He loves it.
It's his favorite thing. You want to deny this elephant his favorite thing?
The McRib Show.
I'm into that. I found that McDonald's The Founder movie to be really freaking interesting. And I'd be down for some more fast food history.
Honestly, I just love the McRib. I'm always excited when the McRib.
You just want
to
do the research.
I want to get in there. Oh, I want to tuck in on that McRib. Eat like 4 or 5 of them, and then try and do a podcast about the McRib, maybe the history of the McRib, but also the experience of the McRib. You know, it's got those slivered onions like you put on the quarter pounder, pickles, then all that barbecue sauce. It's on that long bun with the cracked wheat. You know.
Yep. Maybe it is good that it only comes once a year. As an American, in a lot of ways, it's the closest I get to making a pilgrimage.
It is a pilgrimage of sorts, but it's also, I think, by limiting our access to it, it becomes kind of like kind of the closest thing we have to like a religious holiday in a way. I mean, yes, Christmas comes but once a year, as the Beach Boys said. Or no, Christmas comes this time each year, as the Beach Boys said.
Which is why you really need to freeze a few McRibs so you can thaw them out and put them in your loved one's stockings.
If the McRib ever shows up on Christmas, I'll convert. I will create a new religion and convert to it. All we get is the holiday pie. You ever had the holiday pie?
Oh yeah, just like a eggnoggy custard.
Yeah, it's
sort
like
of thing.
pudding in a pie with candy sprinkles on top. Not great.
I've had it and liked it before, and I've also had it. You know how they frequently overdo the pies? They're just burnt, and then it's just like just throw it away.
Just throw.
If they don't do that one right, it's garbage.
All right. Well, let's get. Oh boy, hang on. Oh, there we go. Let's head to the phone lines here.
Alrighty.
And hit the old folks, if you wanna contact us, you can always call us at 702 podcast. That's 702 PODCASP. Or you can email us at we don't have a podcast yet at gmail.com and give us your idea for a podcast, and we'll talk about it on the show. We have a couple here today, all emails. Now, before I read this first one, I need to address the fact that a couple of weeks ago, we did a podcast about whether Batman or Superman would win in a cornhole tournament. You might recall hearing that. Our friend Andy Fleming was the guest. If you haven't heard that, you can head over to patreon.com/we don't have a podcast yet. And you can check out all of our great premium episodes. Every Friday we put out an episode where we try out the best episode, the best idea for a podcast. I mentioned in that episode that I had reached out to the governing bodies of cornhole as a professional sport to see if they wanted to be involved in our thought experiment about whether Batman or Superman would win at cornhole. And on that episode, I said that none of them got back to us. But since then, I've gotten this email. It says, "Hi, thanks for contacting us. We received your message and appreciate you reaching out. Someone will be reaching out to you soon. The American Cornhole Organization family. Thank you to the ACO.
Yeah.
We look forward to hearing more from you about whether Batman or Superman would win.
Mm-hmm.
We already kind of sorted it out, but maybe we need to take a closer look."
It's possible, and I would just love to develop that relationship with the ACO. Not a big fan of the ACA or the ACL.
Or the ACLU.
I look forward to many fruitful collaborations in the future.
All right, now we got another email here. This one comes to us from the ACL.
Wow, I really stepped in it.
The American Cornhole League writes, "Your ticket number info 812 has been assigned to Josh Keck."
So it's like a deli situation. We pulled a number, and Mr. Keck will be getting back to us at some
Apparently, less than 1,000 people have ever reached out to the American Cornhole League. We are the 812th person to ever ask them a question. Please include this ticket ID in all of your communications with us by mentioning it in the subject. Sincerely. And then this is the email or the URL that responded to us. HTTPS. So it's a secure one. We don't have to worry about anybody getting our information. I play acl.happyfox.com.
Who doesn't love a good happy fox?
So we look forward to Mr. Keck reaching out to us, letting us know who he thinks would win, Batman or Superman, in a cornhole tournament.
Now, is this a happy FOX?
Yes, FOX. Like
Okay.
me.
Well, now I'm picturing Mr. Keck as a David the Gnome style character who might ride a happy fox to meet us in person and answer all of our cornhole questions.
I was picturing him as a Fantastic Mr. Fox style character. Where he's stop
That's good
motion
too.
and his hair keeps moving with every frame.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Regardless, we're going to get to see a very cute little tiny cornhole board in action.
Yeah. All right, and then this third one is not cornhole related. Dana writes into the show and says, Ghostbusters, but you're busting them for moral reasons. Like maybe you're ghost cancelers. So I think this would just be I mean, I was thinking about this before we started recording, and I think there's two ways to approach this idea. Number one, we examine the lives of fictional ghosts, your Caspers, your Jacob Marley, right?
Mm-hmm.
You try and decide whether or not they're good ghosts. If there's anything in their past, anything they've said that you could cancel them for. Option number two, we pick some recently deceased people and we go through their Twitter profiles and try to cancel them.
Ooh.
Herman Cain, Brittany Murphy. Who's going down?
I would like to say that I ain't afraid of no ghosts, but you have just made me realize that I am afraid of not necessarily the ghosts, but I think I like option 1 is
I
what
ain't
I'm trying
afraid
to
of
say.
no stands.
Well, oh yeah, I don't want to.
Yeah, I mean,
we could go further back. I feel like people have been working to bust that Christopher Columbus ghost a lot recently.
yeah,
He's
we could definitely. I mean, yeah, there's plenty of dead people that we could bust. And let's be honest, busting makes us feel good.
Yeah, I like that idea. We could absolutely bust some ghosts and
You got Thomas Jefferson. That's a slam dunk.
Oh yeah, there are a lot of them that are going to be just easy. I think that with a little research, I can probably dig up a few that people maybe don't know about.
Yeah.
Maybe this ghost is hiding in the walls, knows of his or her past transgressions, and is like, no, don't cancel me.
Please.
I'm gonna
I'm
flush him out.
I'm the subject of a hit Broadway musical. Don't tell them about my personal views. I'm, of course, speaking of Sweeney Todd, the demon barber of Fleet Street. I just watched Sweeney Todd for the first time the other day.
Well, what'd you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's late era Tim Burton, but it was one of the least offensive
I was
ones
like,
of those.
wow, they're really singing, huh? I mean, I
Well,
didn't
Johnny
mean to
Depp's
yawn
more
there, but that was
talking to music, but
yeah. I don't think. Whatever.
he's better than that dude from 300 and Phantom of the Opera, though.
Wait, what?
Gerard Butler plays the Phantom in the movie.
In the Phantom of the Opera musical?
Yeah, it's pretty terrible.
I think I watched that movie. Came out like in the early 2000s, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna guess
like
it was like 03 or 04, maybe 05.
Yeah. Not aware of that. What is it with like guys who do gladiator movies also doing like adaptations of Broadway musicals?
I think that they are courting the male audience. Like if we cast an action
unquote,
hero
in scare quotes, male audience,
they will take their
who likes musicals
significant
and
other to a
gladiator
movie that
films.
they want to watch.
The male audience. They want gladiators, they want musicals. We all know what we're talking about when we say the male audience. We're talking about those little rascals.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't want to go see a musical if Wolverine's not stabbing somebody in it.
All right, well let's head to the Podtron 4500. What do you say?
Let's do it.
Folks, the Podtron 4500 is it's artificial intelligence. We feed it the names of all of the hottest podcasts in the world, according to the Apple Podcast charts. And then it tries to create the titles of podcasts that it thinks would be equally popular. What do you got? What do you see on this list? Anything catching your eye?
Well, the Podtron, sometimes I think it gets stuck in some sort of loop and tries to save itself with an idea, and then we just get. I have no idea what it wants from this. I have the drug weight ellipses, Donre history of the Dobrik, and there and vanished, desire.
All right, wait. The drug weight ellipsis.
Donre,
Therein. What?
DON''RE. History of they Dobrik, and there and vanished, desire.
Desire. All right. And what kind of podcast is this?
I think that this is a podcast where we just throw everything at the wall.
Okay.
Because the way the Podtron said the drug, wait, and then there was a pause. It seems like the Podtron had 3 or 4 ideas and didn't edit itself. So maybe this is a podcast where we cover 3 or 4 different topics, but we let some sort of random chance dictate what they are. We could put them all on a wheel and spin it, or have a random number generator, or
like it came up with a better idea halfway through the idea for this podcast. So we could also do that. We could just start with a podcast about a drug, and then we just abruptly change gears into dog breath, whatever it said.
Some sort of history, and then something vanishing, and then something about desire. I don't know. There's a lot of Dobrik in this Podtron list.
What is Dobrik?
I assume it's the last name of someone who has a podcast, probably, but not one that I listen to. It's Dobrik.
David Dobrik. He's a Slovak YouTuber.
But anytime the Podtron gets its vacuum tubes full of dust and craps out a long sentence of word salad, I feel like I got to call it out. It's probably not one we should pick. It's just me trying to tell that computer to be better.
Yeah, it looks like this fella has about 20 million people following him on YouTube. He makes about $1.7 million a year with his YouTube videos. I think with that kind of money, yeah, he probably is doing the kind of drug, the drug weight and then vanish desire. So that's cocaine. Just your dick just.
So you're suggesting that this is a podcast about us busting future ghosts?
A future ghost, yeah. He's definitely he's on the ghost track for sure. He's gonna have some unfinished business, and I'm willing to bet some of it is going to be coke boner related.
do
Yes,
I have multiple questions.
Okay.
Was the Polar Express a ghost train?
I'm trying to remember what the plot of the Polar Express is.
I think that all the children get on a train that takes them to the North Pole to meet Santa Claus.
Well, there's more to it than that, because there's the Tom Hanks guy on the train who's like, tickets, please. And then there's a bell, and if you ring the bell and you can't hear it, it means that you don't believe in Santa Claus and are cast out into darkness, into Sheol, as our Hebrew friends would say.
Sounds like a ghost train to me.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of a spooky train. Christmas is full of ghosts. You got Marley, you got the ghost of Christmas past, ghost of Christmas future. You have future ghost Jesus Christ being born that day.
Is that where they palette swap Jesus and he's wearing a black robe?
That's Nega Christ.
Shadow Jesus.
Yes.
All right, I withdraw any other questions.
All right. I got this is my favorite of the Podtron ideas. This is called Cons Podcast.
Now how is con spelled? This isn't I'm not gonna scream con into the microphone. But...
No, it's CONS.
Oh, okay.
This isn't Cons Podcast.
So this is like we could do a typical pros and cons conversation. But
well, we couldn't do any pros because this would be cons. So this is just cons.
We're just gonna rip that paper down the center, ball up the left half, and throw it the fuck away.
Worst case scenarios. This could also be cons like we're running a confidence scheme, like a con man. These could be ideas for cons.
Ooh, I like that idea.
This could also be cons like convicts.
And that, it could be a little bit of 2 and a little bit of 3 there. We could do a combo platter podcast.
Cons and cons. Cons on cons. I think it's a good idea. I don't think we need to explore it that much. I just think the name alone is like, ha.
I like that one. Yeah. And I'm most partial to the confidence man aspect of it. I like the idea of pulling a little shenanigans podcast style.
Yeah. Kind of a Music Man deal. We're selling everybody trombones or whatever that was about.
I think they were trying to build a monorail. I've got another Podtron idea. And this one is silence.
Silence. Just silence.
I think that the Podtron, after my first idea, just said, you know what, I'm going to sit this one out.
I don't blame him.
So maybe this could be we get a few guests on here and we play 1, 2, 3 quiet as a mouse. See who can win.
Yeah,
it's a bait and switch. It's a, hey, you want to be on my podcast? And then we don't let on. And then it's a competition to see which one of us can not say anything the longest.
So it would just be us having someone on the show and not telling them that it was let's see who can be the quietest. Well, they would lose automatically, but is there like a second level to this where I guess at some point they would threaten to leave the podcast if
I mean, it's
respond.
Really a game of chicken.
And then it becomes the two of us waiting to see who will be the one to say no, we're doing a thing. And then at that point, then it's just they go along with it. We would have to tell them that we didn't know how long the episode was going to be, because otherwise they could just wait it out. They could just get up and leave.
Yeah, this one would probably be best as a video podcast.
Just an hour of silence from the two of us and a guest. I mean, yeah, that could work. I honestly, There's something a little exciting about it, you know. Yeah, I like it. I actually do like it. Silence the podcast. There's a bunch of podcasts that have silence in the name, but there's like silence is not an option. Fuck silence with Joe Walsh. And then there's a bunch of like
Joe Walsh refused to be controversial enough to say fuck any other type of music other than what he plays. It's just, fuck not always listening to music.
I don't know if it's the same Joe Walsh.
There's more
There's
than
the
one.
Joe Walsh of the Eagles. This guy kind of looks like Anthony Bourdain. I think this guy might be the yeah, no, I found his Twitter profile. It's at Walsh Freedom. So
Oh.
Here's what it says.
So this isn't a music related podcast at all then.
It says he's the chairman of at the Bravery Proj, former candidate for president, former congressman, author of Fuck Silence, but he's asterisked out the vowels. Patriot, husband, father, brother, son.
Clown.
Hey Siri, search Pornhub.com for the following tags: patriot, husband, father, brother, son.
Oh.
Oh, and it brought up Joe Walsh 2020 at Walsh Freedom.
I think I'd rather listen to the Joe Walsh from the Eagles podcast.
I also would rather listen.
He seems like a pretty fun guy.
I'd rather listen to the Eagles, and I'm not an Eagles fan.
I've come to terms with my Eagles hate. It's a little bit it was over the top. They're fine. They're fine.
What is it with these conservative guys having the same names as like 70s 70s classic rock stars? We got Stephen Miller, Joe Walsh.
I think that they want to let
Space Cowboy.
Let people know that they're
that I'm a patriot, I'm a husband, I'm a father, and I'm a brother.
They want people to know that they're a little bit rock and roll to go with their a little bit racist.
I'm a little bit blood and soil.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit country.
But, I play a flying V guitar to go with it.
Yeah. Silence.
Yep.
Wait, was this the Joe Walsh one? How did we get on Joe Walsh? I don't even remember.
Because we were kind of following the Podtron's trail to recommending silence.
Oh, that's right.
Which
the
we didn't.
Word Silence podcast with Joe Walsh, but not the right Joe Walsh. Wrong Joe Walsh.
I'm a little bit worried now that I think about it that the Podtron was actually negging us a little bit on that one.
It was implying that we liked a certain type of podcast, which we do not like.
Yeah, so back off, Podtron.
All right, I have my second idea from the Podtron this week is an idea called Dr. Desire. Dr. Desire.
So is this going to be like a love line kind of thing, but we just give ourselves, one of us, a cooler name that makes Dr. Drew smack himself in the forehead and be like, I should have been Dr. Desire.
I mean, maybe, yeah, one of us is Dr. Desire, and then we need the other one also needs to come up with a name. So
I don't know. Dr. Feelgood's already taken.
Dr. Feelgood.
The Sexy Surgeon.
Dr. Desire and the Sexy Surgeon. Yeah, that could work.
The Polyamorous Podiatrist.
Yeah. Okay. Which one of us would be the polyamorous podiatrist?
I think we could just flip a coin.
It's fair enough. That's usually how polyamorous works. You just flip a coin. Yeah, so this would just be, I guess, a call-in show like Love Line, where people would call in with questions, and then we would give we'd give our sexy answers to the questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's easy.
I mean, and
we
honestly, looking at the demographic information we have about our listeners, I'm sure that a lot of them have sexual questions.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of it's just going to be informing them that no, you don't pee in a woman to make a baby. And we can do that all day long.
It's an hour plus of us just reiterating you don't pee in a woman to make a baby.
Yeah.
Stop peeing.
I want to make
peeing in women. Clap emoji. Stop peeing in women.
I like the idea of making a slideshow in which milk lemonade around the corner fudge is made as a cogent educational point.
It's the the official Joe Biden Twitter account. Clapping hands emoji. Milk, lemonade. Round the corner fudge is made. Stick your finger in the hole. Now you got a Tootsie Roll.
Now, if you have a cherry fruity, you need to go to the doctor. Don't play around with that.
Thank you.
Yeah. So this podcast is just a public service. I think we'll feel really good about doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, we definitely, I think we're on the right track here. And, all right. So just let's go through what we got here. All right. So we have the, public domain karaoke podcast, Spooky Tales, Idioms for Idiots, the McRib Show, Ghost Cancelers, the Drug Wait, and then I didn't write down the rest of that one. Cons Podcast, Silence, and Dr. Desire. I'll be honest, I think Dr. Desire is the most desirable of these.
I'm fine with that. But I do want to say this was like a bumper crop. There are like 4 of these I think we could do that would be really good. But I'm happy doing Dr. Desire.
All right, let's talk about what I feel like. I was exceptionally tired and kind of not as engaged as normal with this one. I feel like Spooky Tales, I could see doing that. I honestly could see doing the McRib Show. The Cons podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to do Silence.
If we could get a good guest who is open to doing either Silence or the public domain karaoke, I think that those could both be really great, but there's a little more work to be done there.
All right, well let's say this. Let's say we're going to do the Dr. Desire, the sex call-in show. But we will hedge our bets and say that if no one calls in, then we'll just do Silence.
It's the lady or the tiger. You'll have to wait until Friday to find out.
What's it going to be, folks? If you want to find out, go to patreon.com/we don't have a podcast yet. Become a supporter of the show. You'll get access to this Friday's episode, whether it's the sexual call-in show or just Silence. Only one way to find out. But also, you'll get access to like 50 plus episodes of content. We have video episodes. We did one where we just talked to each other in the bathtub. One where we did a whole bracketed tournament of animals fighting each other. We've done lots of stuff. And it's all good, and it's all there over at our Patreon. You'll get a new episode every Friday, a bonus episode if you like the show. And you want to just throw us a couple of bucks, you can do that. And another episode every week is your reward. You ever get to the end of the week and you're like, I listened to all the podcasts. I got nothing to do. What am I going to do? Listen to my coworkers talk? Listening to Christian EDM music? Well, no more. Now you can listen to us talk for another hour about either sex or us just sitting quietly in self-satisfied silence.
I'm going to put my head on the desk, and it's actually pretty cool and comfortable. And even though I know that I've been a bad boy and this is supposed to be punishment, I'm going to enjoy it anyway.
Well, folks, that's been our show. Sorry we don't have a podcast yet. We're working on it, though, as you can see. If you like coming along on this journey to try and have a podcast, why don't you go to the Apple Podcasts and leave us a review. Give us a 5-star rating. Help us climb those charts. Mm-hmm. Give us more people. We need a bigger pool to draw from these ideas that come in.
This small you're the ones who give that us we've the been good sitting idea. In is mostly urine at this point.
Yeah, we are like the Best Buy idea box, just brimming with urine. It's mostly urine, not a lot of ideas.
It's pretty much a golden foot bath at this point.
Yeah. So folks, thank you so much for listening. We will talk to you next week. And goodbye.
Bye-bye.